Hey, happy Tuesday night, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I'm here with you. We're live and we're on the air, right? Hey, listen, I'm real excited about talking to you tonight about making home purchases much smoother and how to avoid some pitfalls. You know, we talk about buyer's remorse. That's more common than you think, but I'm going to show you a few tips here that's going to help you minimize that, if not eliminate it. It could eliminate it if you follow these steps completely. But before we get started, I want to be transparent with you here. I've been thinking all day trying to figure out how to do this, and here's what it is. And this is going to be obviously for replay. I don't watch if there's any viewers or not, so I just expect there's not going to be any, and that's because I'm brand new at this. So this is for the replay. Here's the deal. I'm brand new at live streaming. I've just getting started with this thing, and so nobody's expecting me to do it, right? And I'm used to doing videos, and I did 110 of them, and so my brain is now like hardwired for, you know, this is how you do this stuff, is like movies. And live is completely different. And it's like locking my brain up in a way. And I figure if I'm just straightforward, honest with you right up front and tell you I'm going to be excellent at this, but not today. I've got to work my way through being really bad first. And I'm kind of counting on a little bit of grace maybe. Don't expect it. You know, I expect to take some beatings, but I feel better. I just wanted to be able to share that with you because I care about you guys, and I care about real estate, and I care about what buyers and sellers go through. And I've seen some stuff. I've been around a minute, you know, and there's things that I've seen, patterns repeated over and over and over again, that if I could warn people about them, it'd keep them out of trouble. And I don't mean deep trouble, but keep them from getting bummed out of stuff. You know, I'm old hippie, so I'm going to use my phraseology. Bummed out, you know. So really, that's what these lives are about. And the reason that I'm so interested in the lives is for all the videos I did, and there was great repartee, there was great comments on it and everything. Everybody was really kind about that. But I know that there was questions that I couldn't think of to answer for the videos, you know, and so I figured if I was live and taking questions and stuff, that it'll happen, you know, it'll start to happen. And by the way, I'm going to let this replay, I'm going to let this stay live after, so I think you can still communicate in that way. I'm sorry, see, a movie, you cut that right out, video, but so you can still communicate in that way. So my whole point is to be as helpful as I possibly can. Yes, I live in Brentwood, Tennessee, but there's a lot of stuff that's happening in real estate here that's happened across the country. The market's hot. Buyers are getting beat up. Some of them are making a killing. That's changed. We'll talk about that a little bit. That's changed a little bit. But my whole goal is to do my best to help you guys. But I have to go through this learning curve and unwrap my brain from the making video thing. You should see my leg. It's going like 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'm not nervous. I'm just juiced up. So anyway, that's my whole story, and I appreciate you listening to it. And if you haven't clicked away yet, let me get into the meat of this thing. We're going to talk about buyer's remorse, how to avoid it, how to find the perfect home. The thing about the real estate market right now is that it's changing. Earlier this year, when we were out looking at houses, I had a bunch of clients this year, and it's still do, and it's been a good year for a lot of people, right? But the housing market was so hot that comps didn't matter under normal circumstances. If I'm going out with a buyer and we're looking at a house that's, I'm just going to make this up, $450,000, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, wherever, Brentwood, Franklin, wherever it is. We're going to look at the property. I'm going to do comps, and we're going to make sure that it's priced reasonably well. So if we need to negotiate, we know that going in. I mean, that's the way I protect my clients is let's see if this is a realistic number, because sometimes sellers back in the day, still to the case today, especially the case today, sellers are going to be asking for more than maybe the house is worth. Boy, that really is happening now. But the market was so hot just a few months ago that comps didn't mean anything, because you know what? The seller was going to get some portion of that price, even if it was crazy off the wall. And you've heard about the $100,000 over, and you've heard about the $20,000 over, and the appraisal gap coverage, and you've heard about the pass-fail inspections, which is still a really good idea. I love pass-fail inspections; they're great. But the market's cooled off just a bit now. At least it has in the Nashville area. I don't know about Boise, Idaho. Take that back. Heard on news the other day. It's like the hottest city in the nation. Is it? But now, properties are where sellers, and I understand, and agents too, were saying, market's so hot, let's price at an extra $30,000 or, something like that. Let me check something here. Okay, good. Let's price it extra $20,000, $10,000, whatever the number might be, and just see what happens. Because a few months ago, you were getting it. Well, now people are doing that, and the houses are they're beginning to sit on the market. We're looking at properties now that's 14, 18, 20, 25 days on the market. That wasn't happening unless it was really in tough shape, right? And so those are the ones that you can negotiate for. Those are the ones that you can get a better deal. And all that's happening is there's a reckoning that's coming, and that's the pricing has come. What is it? Roosters come home to roost, whatever that is. It's come full circle. Now it's going to continue to, I think, probably level off. I don't believe that the prices are going to drop. I don't have my crystal ball is in my truck, so I don't have that with me. But I think they're going to continue to level off. Plus, it's coming up on winter, because in the past, it used to be as soon as you could see Halloween, things started to shut down. It was pretty amazing. Last year, it just bolted right through. Right, market just kept going on. But here's my point. I guess I'm learning, going through this, talking too much. Here we go. A hot real estate market does more than just raise prices. And I've seen this happen a lot. The percentage of people that are bailing on their contracts is I don't know that it's at an all-time high, but it's at the top. It's the most it's been for a long time. And here's the reason. A hot real estate market because of low inventory and high competition. It's the heat, you get into the auction kind of a thing. People are buying houses because of that eBay auction kind of a thing without really checking it out and being thorough due diligence about whether they should buy it or not. And then they're being sorry that they had made those contracts. So that's what I want to talk about. And even though it's cooling off, it's still low inventory. The competition is going to be high. The properties that aren't pristine, even mostly pristine, maybe they're going to sit on the market a little bit longer. I could be proven wrong. Who knows? But I don't think so. So here we go. Let me do it this way. I made this special for you. See, I got the little stars and stuff flying around. The first thing that I want to talk about in avoiding remorse and finding the perfect house is, number one, is the timing right. The reason I bring that up is I know folks, I've had clients that come into the office, they're living in an apartment, and they're watching their friends because of the market's so hot. The buyers they're buying. A lot of people leaving apartments. and they kind of feel left out a little bit. I mean, they're like, they feel a little bit left out. And so they start thinking, I got to buy a house. There's 3 or 4 of my friends, drinking buddies, whatever. They're out buying houses. Well, I feel a little left out. Make sure that the timing is right for you. And I'm going to include a couple of things, probably none of my business. Matter of fact, I'm sure of it. But I'm going to mention it anyway because I've seen what it can do. When I talk about, is the timing right for you? Let's talk about your job for a second. Do you like your job? Are you getting paid enough? Or you feel like you're getting paid enough? Do you feel comfortable? Have you gotten promotions? Is the job doing well? Bottom line on that is, do you see yourself doing that for a long period of time? Is this a career that you could really sink your teeth into and see a lot of growth? That's important because when you buy a house, it's a long-term commitment, right? Now, you can always turn around and sell it. I get that. But once you buy a house, even in a hot market like this, if you sell it too quick, it's going to cost you some money. A few years down the road, assuming that there's continued growth, you can sell it and break even in just a few years, 3, 4 years. It used to be 7, 6, 5, These days it's a little quicker than that. But you're in for the long haul, even if it's just 2 or 3 years, if you're going to buy a house, if you want to break even. Otherwise, it can cost you some serious money pretty quickly. So make sure that your job is steady. And this is a tough one here. I'm just going to say it. It's a relationship. Is your relationship solid? Sorry, spitting all over the camera. Is your relationship solid? It's none of my business. I've had a number of people in my office over the years, and I could tell there was trouble in paradise. You could just tell. And it turned out in so many of the cases where they're trying to do something to reconstitute the relationship. I've seen it before where new marriage, I'm going to buy you a house, the marriage didn't work out. Well, that turned out to be a bummer. And again, it's none of my business. And if you were at all sensitive to that stuff, you would have clicked away by now anyway. Sorry. But what I'm trying to say is make sure that you're solid in that. Make sure that the timing is right. And only you can know that for sure. But if you just give it some thought. Here's the next one. We're talking about it a second ago. Are your finances solid? Now, here's what I mean by that. We're talking about the job. Do you like doing your work? That's important. If you're going to work every day, not digging it, there's a pretty good chance that maybe at some point you go, I don't want to do this anymore. Well, at this point, when you buy a house, you got to keep that job, even if you hate it. So what do they say? If you love your job, you never work a day in your life. I don't know if I sign off on that completely, but some of it I think is okay. Have you been able to put some money away? Is that, have you got some savings? Are you living above your means? Do you have a lot of credit card debt? I mean, are you getting a paycheck and 50% of it's going to, or more, going to car payments and credit card payments? You don't want that. If you've ever heard of Dave Ramsey, hey, he can be a little caustic, but he's really smart and he's a good man and he means well. I think he just gets, he's just Dave. Not going to make excuses for him. But he's a real good finance guy to look at. But make sure that you're financing your finances, not financing. We'll get to that in a second. But you're solid on that, and you see that continuing. So now we've got the timing is right. You feel like your finances are solid. That's a really good thing. The next thing is going to be finding a lender. Let me tell you about this. This is really important. I mean, and you're probably thinking there's somebody that you promote. Well, there is. But that's not what I'm getting at here. I expect anybody that watches this, 99.5% I'm going to be from out of town anyway, so my guy may or may not apply. That's not what I'm getting at. Here's what I'm saying about finding a lender. There's some really good companies out there. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's some really good companies, and a lot of them you see on TV, or you see them on Facebook ads, or you see them you see them everywhere. If they're doing ads, on a national scale, they're probably doing pretty well. But here's the thing about lenders. It's a service that's provided. So there's competition. There's more than one. Do yourself a favor. No matter what one person says, they're obviously going to be trying to sell you on a loan. Talk to more than one lender. Talk to 3. I mean, once you get your documents gathered together, who cares? It costs you nothing to share your documents with other people to find out who's going to give you the best deal. Tell each of them, hey, I'm talking to other folks, to get those competitive juices of theirs flowing a little bit. But here's kind of my point, and I don't mean this to be cruel or mean. A great company is only as good, as far as you and I are concerned, when it gets to be a loan, as good as the loan officer is. If you get somebody that doesn't pay attention to you, or they just don't run a good business, meaning the loan officer, doesn't matter how good a company backing them is, it's the service to you and me that matters. And so when I have a lender, the guy that I recommend, and I can tell you his name, Rodney Wilds, F&M Bank. Hey, he's awesome. The reason that I've stuck with that guy for years and years is because his service is over the top. It's silky smooth. My clients always know what's going on. The only reason I tell you that is talk to more than one lender, get the best deal, get a recommendation from somebody that you trust. It can be an agent, it can be a friend, it can be your mother, whoever it is. If somebody else has had a good experience with them, chances are pretty good it'll repeat. But if you call somebody out of the blue because you saw an ad on the TV or Facebook, you don't know who you're getting, and they don't know you and you don't know them, and there's no connection. If you get a recommendation, there's a connection automatically, and they're going to take better care of you. There's a lot of good lenders out there that are undiscovered, but it's their job to build relationships with people. It's not our job to discover them. We just need to get referrals from people that are in the know. So finding a lender, and understand that there's different rates, there's different fees, they call them hidden fees. There's all kinds of junk fees that can be cut, and you may not even know unless you compare it with somebody else. So that's a good thing. Here we go. You get that? Good. Dink. Here's the next one. This is a big deal. Now, we've talked about not buying a house before you're ready. This is going to help minimize the chance of buyer's remorse, because you don't want that. You don't want that. This is an important one. Once you talk to a lender, you're going to get a dollar amount. I wonder if this switch will work. I'm going to try something here. Bear with me. I'm going to try something. It does not. Okay. To fix that. Going for a different camera angle. Once you get a dollar amount from the lender, let's say, again, we'll say $450. I'm just picking that for no other reason than that's what I'm picking. Let's say that that's what you got. And you've got this idea in your head that you want 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 3 acres, swimming pool, gravel driveway, hardscape backyard. I mean, to the nines. When you sit down and work with an agent, if you're working with an agent, I'm not promoting that. I mean, because you can go to Zillow too, I suppose. But when you are looking for a house and you've got that number, I'm telling you, the difference between a dream home and what you can actually afford may be different. Some people it will take them 10 viewings of houses for them to figure out they're not going to get exactly what they wanted for the dream home, that they may have to be stepping up just a little bit, and they have to be a little more conservative. So the best thing I can tell you to do is when you sit down with an agent and you're looking at that price point, like here in Nashville, it's Nashville, Brentwood, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Armitage. If you don't have a location picked out, which normally people do, put that price range in there, say it's $450, and you're going to go to the spot where you get the most returns. If there's 2 houses in a pretty large area, that's not the area you want to be in. If there's 10 houses in an area, that's more what you're looking for. It's what I call a target-rich environment. So you have to figure out what a dream home is versus a reality. And sometimes, hey, I get it. It takes a minute. It takes a minute. And sometimes, you know what? You can be a little disappointed. I understand how that can go. Here's the last little bit. We're almost actually. This is kind of an interesting thing. Especially with the way the market's been here the last little bit, people have been frustrated because they're trying to buy homes and other buyers are beating them out. The fact of the matter is 66% of homes were getting multiple offers. Those multiple offers, it was like 3 and above. So for 66% of the time, 2 buyers were getting beat out and 1 buyer was able to buy the house, right? It's been tough. It's been a tough year and a half. And people start getting frustrated. I've had tons of buyers that are just frustrated. Well, here's something that I've learned, and it's just taken me, 15 years to figure it out. Well, it only took me a couple of years to figure it out. But usually people won't believe me, and I understand that because they think I'm trying to soften the blow or something like that. Here's the key. If it feels like you can't find a house to buy, and you're financially ready, the timing is right, you've got your good lender, you know what the house that you want is and that it's available, but you just can't find it. Trust me on this. When you have a search that's delivering properties to you, let the right one come to you. Have a little faith that the right one will come to you. Because what's going to happen is you're going to see, sometimes people get caught in this idea of, I've got to have this house. I've got to have this house. And they start getting energized. You got to get something, and this one will do. That house over there, it's pretty nice. We can make that one work. I'm begging you, don't do that. I mean, you can, but I've seen that turn out with the buyer's remorse. A year down the road, we shouldn't have bought underneath the power lines or next to the railroad tracks or whatever seemed like a good idea at the time, right? You don't want to do that. If you'll trust me on this, because it'll happen, let the right house come to you. There's a spiritual component to this. I don't know where you stand on that, but let the right house come to you. And what will happen is for all the homes that you've missed, if let's say you put in contracts or offers for 3 or 4 homes and you got none of them and you feel like, you really missed, that was the dream house that you really wanted, trust me on this. The next house that comes along that you're able to get is going to energize you. You're going to go, I am so glad we didn't get this other house because this is the one that I really wanted. I'm so glad we didn't get that other house. I can't tell you how well let the right house come to you works. If you feel anything less than thrilled when a house comes to you, don't get it. Don't compromise. Hopefully you're going to live there for a while, raise your family, whatever. I want you to be happy. But wait for a house to come along that really gets your energy going, you know what I mean? So I hope this has made sense. I came clean with you up front, and they're going to be like this for a while until they're not. But if you've come in for the replay, I think that you can leave comments and it'll still go on there. And I'd love to be able to talk to you about any questions that you have. My name is Andy Elliott. I work with DeSelms Real Estate here in Franklin, Tennessee. And hey, I hope that I hope you got something out of this. So we'll talk to you later. Trying to shut this off. There we go. There we go.